Welcome to Work in Progress, Conversations with Creators. I'm your host, Logan Roy Speitman. On today's program, I have with me Michael Gira, who is the founder, lead singer for the band Swans, which is a legendary Lower East Side band from the early 80s. And they're coming to Albuquerque. We're really excited. I hope you enjoy our conversation.
If you enjoy our podcast, please like and subscribe and consider becoming a digital subscriber to the Albuquerque Journal to help us bring you more content like this. You can find this episode and all of our podcasts on the Albuquerque Journal website, abqjournal.com, as well as YouTube, iTunes, and Spotify. See the show notes for a discount code on a digital subscription. Thank you for supporting the Albuquerque Journal, New Mexico's leading news.
Hi, Michael. Thank you so much for being here. It's great speaking with you today.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And so I want to start off, because I'm a big fan of Swans. And I know, I was talking about this in the newsroom. There's a couple people here that are big fans, but you've always, I think you've been a little bit underground, a little bit like you have kind of a cult fan base. You're not like everyone's, top 40 kind of music group, right? But you're like so important. I think you were really influential, on so many bands too. So, I kind of want to just start with going back to, you moved to New York in 1979, and tell me about that. What was that like coming to New York at that time and that environment?
Well, it's a very long time ago, but I remember being quite excited and elated. And it was a place with lots of art, lots of music, but also the city was basically collapsed at that point. And, there were abandoned buildings everywhere where I lived, burnout cars on the street, gunfire at night, machine gun fire, in fact. Other parts of the city, I guess, were probably perfectly safe. But where I lived in the East Village, it was definitely not. Anyway, I figured out how to survive and got various construction jobs and made enough money to live and started making music. And that's about all I could say about that.
Do you think people romanticize that time now?
I don't know, nor do I care.
That's a good answer. So in the early days, you were working with Thurston Moore. He did like tape loops on some of your early stuff, right? What was it like working with him?
No, he didn't. Thurston didn't make tape loops. He sat in with Swans once or twice on bass because we had two basses, and I was the main bass player, and I was always changing bass players. And Thurston and I were good friends. And I needed a bass player a few times, and he played bass. That's about the extent of his contribution to Swans.
Okay, sure. But I'm trying to also get that sense. Like that. I feel like the Lower East Side, the East Village at that time, there was so much happening. Like I know Karen Finley, and she was involved. I don't know how much involvement you had with her.
I was
Lydia Lynch was around.
Separate.
I know you were all.
I was very separate from all that. I just focused on Swans, and I worked very hard. I worked 5-6 days a week in construction and then rehearsed at night. And I don't know where I found the energy to do something like that because I did intense physical labor. But we worked all the time, and we were furiously interested in making music that I guess kind of ripped the insides out of reality, which is I think we achieved at a certain point. I knew some people there, but I'm not exactly a social person. So it wasn't like I was part of a scene. It wasn't for me, really.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah. You certainly, like other people that were part of the scene, I know, really appreciated what you were doing. But I didn't realize that, you were working construction. That's interesting too. When I was in college, I had a noise band that was kind of like construction demolition themed. We just like smashed stuff. And, I wonder if that kind of the physicality of construction played into the music at all. Cause I do feel like there's like that percussive energy of the early Swans songs that, I could imagine you having that as an influence.
No, I don't think so. I just wanted to make music and make sounds that were exciting to me. I did use uh, a nail gun from the construction site I was working on one song, on this song, Time is Money Bastard. We didn't have samplers in those days, but you could capture a sound on a delay. And then so I recorded shooting the nail gun into a wall in a hallway. And then I used that to make a drum pattern. That's about as close as the construction work ever got to Swans.
Your music has changed quite a bit over the years. I guess first, probably 1985, Jarboe comes on, the sort of ethereal vocals. You have, and synthesizers, that changes things a bit. Then you took a break from 1996 to 2010. You're doing Angels of Light, other stuff. You come back to Swans. Again, it's sort of a different formulation. And now, I mean, if like, I was just playing someone like, some of your early stuff and then your new album from this year, which parts of, like if you listen to the beginning of Birthing, for instance, it almost sounds like new age music or something, It's quite a difference from where you were to where you've come, right?
You mean like
so
Enya?
Maybe talk about that
like
that journey.
You're saying I sound like Enya?
I mean, no, not really. I mean,
or Enya, whatever.
I've said. Well, I wonder, if like you went, like if you went in at a time machine and went back to 1983, Lower East Side as Swans now and performed, what would the younger you think of your new stuff? Would you think this is the future of music? This is amazing, or would you? I don't know. What would you? Because it's so different.
Well, I hope it's different. I mean, my God, if I had stayed the same, I'd be a true moron. I mean, you have to grow. You have to move forward.
But what do you think the younger version of you would you appreciate? Would you be excited about the music that you're making now, or would you not understand it back then?
Well, I had a great love for the work of Brian Eno, for instance, which is which was much different than Swans. And I one of my favorite bands was Kraftwerk also, and I loved the album Low by David Bowie. So I don't know how. I mean, I guess I guess I'm a putatively intelligent human being, so I'm able to look at variety and nuance, and I think I would have been able to do so then, although I was pretty hard-headed and vitriolic in those days. But I certainly got a lot done.
I love everything you've done from the beginning till now. It's really been quite a journey,
That's the correct word, is journey. If you're not moving forward, you're standing still, or worse, you're dying. So I think it's just important to keep moving. And with each record we make and each phase of the group, I try to learn something from it and take a kernel from the previous work and take that and push it into the next thing. And hence the music keeps growing. I never would have imagined in those early days that I would write songs on acoustic guitar, which is what I do now.
Yeah. How do you write your music? Like, what's your process? Like, you sit down with a guitar and start strumming, or you have an idea, or you start writing, or how does it normally start?
In all those ways. I pick up the guitar and start playing, and eventually I'll come up with some sounds that I like. And then we'll struggle to find words and then build a structure and listen carefully. I play with my thumb, strumming down with my thumb. So it makes a very rich sound. And I hear the resonances and the overtones in the sounds. And then I imagine orchestrating those. And so then I bring it to a band and I kind of try to get them to fill those spaces and those imaginary notes. And then through the collaboration with the band, who are very important to the process of the music, especially since 2010, the music mutates and grows. It starts out from something which might be a 3-minute song with me alone at home on the acoustic guitar, and eventually metamorph changes into something that's 30 minutes long, perhaps. It's just a gradual process of accretion.
Yeah, and some of those longer songs, 20, 30 minutes long, they really, like, I almost think of them as, like, it could be part of an opera or something with, like, the dynamics change, it's a really, like, it's a whole narrative, and, like, that it's I mean, the song itself becomes a journey too, and I think that's something really, it's not gonna be on top 40 radio, but for people that are engaged, it's really a kind of amazing, works of art, I think, you know? How did you
Well, I try
start
to make
doing
an
that? Or how I
experience
mean, um
for myself and the people with whom I'm playing, and for the audience. I try to make it an immersive and transforming experience, uh, because it gives me joy to do so. No other reason.
yeah. I think I read somewhere that, you were influenced by Fela Kuti, which makes sense, especially in this context where his songs, are so long, you kinda go into a trance, and I heard someone explain those songs as, like, just when you think the song's over, that's when the vocals come in, and it's like the song's just starting, you know?
Certainly, James Brown is great as well, although we don't sound anything like those two groups. But yeah, I like the music that you just completely fall into and disappear. And I guess it's a form of escapism.
Maybe, I don't but I think escapism, it's sort of like, "Oh, I don't want to think about my painful life, so let me escape into something pleasant," whereas I think your music does kind of allow for more introspective, meditative, experiences, even thinking about some of the more, darker or difficult aspects of life. So I don't know if if I would say it's escapist. I think it allows you to go on a journey into the mind, maybe.
That sounds nice.
Let's see. So, I'm wondering also, Suicide was a early influence on you, right? Did you see them perform?
Indeed. Um, I saw them a couple times. I saw them once. My first time I saw them was in Los Angeles, uh, at a punk show arranged by punk promoters, as everything was in those days. Maybe there was 100 people there in a small kind of basement club, and they didn't have a stage. They were just on the ground playing, and the audience, the punks, were right up front. And I thought they were tremendous. The punks, however, disagreed. They were spitting directly into Alan Vega's face. And what he would do was he would gather the spit that was on his face and pull it into his mouth. And then he would kind of roll it around in his mouth and spit it out and say, "Thank you, thank you, thank you very much, thank you." And then he hit himself in the face with the microphone.
Yeah.
He was quite a performer.
Those are the
He
days,
was
right?
it seemed he was both romantic and nihilistic simultaneously.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I feel, a lot of that stuff kinda goes back to maybe Lou Reed, right? Like, turning away from the audience, kinda having, like, almost like a love-hate, mostly hate relationship with the audience sometimes, do you think?
I don't know. I'm not a fan of Lou Reed. So, I mean, I like, what record do I like? Transformer. I don't really like much else. So I don't know.
But yeah. You're not a fan of Metal Machine music? No. Let's see. You worked with Martin Bisi, right? The, producer? What was that like?
Well, he was an engineer with me, not a producer. But I worked with Martin for many years.
I think,
I
maybe
don't
he
know.
produced other people. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he might have. But anyway, he was a good engineer.
Well, let's just talk more about kind of the recent work. How long did it take to make the album Birthing?
Well, it depends on how you look at it. I started writing the songs probably 18 months before it was recorded. And then I rehearsed with the band for a considerable amount of time. And then those songs transformed into something completely different through the input of my tremendous band group of musicians. And we toured the world with those songs. and they changed along the way, and they became the structure basically of what you hear on the record. Towards the end of the tour, we went into a studio because we realized we were sort of at the apex of performing this material, and recorded it. And then after the tour was over, I went back to Berlin where it had been recorded and where I worked with a particular engineer. And we did overdubs and we further arrangements and editing and mixing. And so the whole process was at least 18 months.
Yeah. Is that typical that you kind of work out material on the road and refine it before you then go into the studio?
No, it depends. The previous record, Birthing, was recorded in the studio. Just I had the songs and I presented them to the band. We rehearsed for a month, went in the studio, and played.
Yeah. So it really kind of depends, I guess. Yeah. How do you keep your music like fresh and new and keep pushing yourself?
Well, I am blessed with a capacity to immediately loathe the record I have just completed. So it just makes me want to do better. And so I keep trying to do better.
Yeah. That's interesting. And that kind of, I mean, I know everyone asks you, how you get the name Swans, and you said you like the idea that swans, they're beautiful, but they have this kind of nasty, angry, mean temperament, right?
Well,
And I think
I have to interject. I did not say that. I am aware that is somewhere, I think on Wikipedia or something, that statement, but I did not say that.
Okay.
I think it's one of those things that got ascribed to me, and then now it's de facto the truth. But I, however, did not say that. I chose the name Swans because I felt it was just a benign name that signified nothing. It was just this sort of pretty image. And the reason I chose that name was because there was this plethora of bands like the Sniveling Shits or whatever happened to be around in the punk days, where the names were overreaching, and I felt that would be a noose in the future to have a name that was too, that connoted too much. So I chose a name that I just thought was kind of blank. And it had nothing to do with that kind of romanticized version that you just mentioned.
Okay, well, good. I'm glad you're setting the record straight, You're coming here to Albuquerque, Sunshine Theater, September 12th. And have you performed there before, Sunshine Theater in Albuquerque?
Yes. Yes, I have.
You like it? Good venue?
Sure. I like the Southwest a lot. I like New Mexico very much. And I'm looking forward to performing there.
Yeah, great. What attracts you to this area?
I guess, well, first, if anybody would say the sun, right? But I like the culture a lot.
Yeah, I see you have a cowboy hat. Is that something you picked up when you moved out here?
No, I've been wearing a cowboy hat since 1985 every day.
Okay, all right. Well, good. We're excited to have you here. And is there anything else you want to say that I didn't ask about?
No, sir. I've said enough.
All right. Well, thank you again. I really appreciate it. And we'll see you soon.